there's a really important step that you should consider before getting involved in this process, and that's getting a technology team together that includes key representatives from every department, so you have a full spectrum of perspectives accounted for. To this day, we still run into subcontractors who make their CFO and controller the sole decision maker for technology for their entire company. And that's the quickest way to turn your company into an accounting firm that builds instead of builders with strong accounting. So for the health of the decision, please consider getting a technology team together. You'll thank us later. The software fit stage is exactly how it sounds. This is where the needs of the company are matched with the functionality of the software. So we're going to do two things in this segment. One, we're going to give you some really good recommendations of how to navigate the software fit stage on your side. And two, we're going to show you how we handle it on our side. I'll step off to the side so you can see the whole thing here. The first one is to identify your company's core workflows. Now, I can send you this diagram here, but it's more important for your team to get together and debate it and come up with their own. You might just want to use this as a guide. So it's very simple. We've got material and equipment management just as an example here, and then you break down key workflows within that core workflow. Now, the next stage is where it gets a little tricky. Put all the workflows into a spreadsheet and then list all of the features you need to make the workflows efficient. Now, if you really want to enhance team cohesion, take the conversation beyond that and document how each feature will impact the user as well as the team. When you have this conversation, the entire team will learn how their efforts or lack of effort impacts others. And in having this conversation, you may find out that some workflows you simply do not need. They may be causing damage downstream, or some that you didn't think were that valuable are absolutely valuable. It's a great conversation to have. After you've documented all your needs, add a column for the deal breakers. This is where you indicate on a feature by feature basis what's a must-have versus what's a nice-to-have. Next, add a column for your priority ranking. You've already had the debate on what features are going to impact the company most, so simply indicate where each feature ranks. Now, this third one is critical. Add a column for the software providers to indicate feature readiness. This is where they will say that the feature is available right out of the gate, or it's in development, or the third option, that there's a third-party integration needed. Now, the most important thing to do here is to provide the opportunity for the software vendors to explain the level of integration. After you get your tech team together and identify your needs, now you're ready to meet the software vendors. So for us, that is still stage one, the software fit. Now, what to expect from Plexus at this stage is simple. We're going to discuss your needs and goals and then show you what you got and get your feedback. And hopefully we're a great fit, and what you see justifies moving to the next step with us. But if not, it's still not a waste of time. We will help you find a better fit partner. A lot of software selection processes stop at the software fit stage and only ask a few questions around the implementation, which often has disastrous outcomes. For subcontractors, the implementation is as tough as $2 steaks. So if you fail to control the labor and fail to get a detailed plan, it is literally like going to the casino and letting the house decide how long you're going to sit at the table and how much you're going to bet. To help you control labor, we go beyond the extensive deep dives and documenting gaps and take a look at your organizational and cultural structure so we can identify gaps and risks around people and processes. Now, that all starts with this survey here. This is a 27-page survey, which usually results in follow-up questions that give us enough information to develop a detailed plan and budget that is provided with the software pricing. The plan and budget we present to you is trustworthy because of how much we build truth into the sales process. And this sales mantra defines that process, but it's points 4 and 5 that are particularly unique, and they may even change how you see sales. So regarding point 4, we only pursue best fit prospects, and what's important here is how we do it. Now, client services attends almost every sales presentation, and of course they do the discovery. And while doing all that, they are completing an ongoing assessment in the background. Now watch this. I'm going to bring down a summary here, an example of it so you can see. This is what we would receive from client services in sales. Now, as you can see, let me get off this side here. We got a tier score, pros, risks, Any data complications, gaps? I've removed any personal identifiers that would, so you don't see the identity of this company, but this is a real summary. Now, inevitably, we get down to the budget. So in a case like this, where we have 89%, sales would proceed pursuing this prospect and they would complete the GMP agreement. Now, this prevents, by keeping operations involved, the people who are implementing the software, by keeping them involved in the decision, we are keeping it real, we are keeping it true, and this prevents salespeople from chasing companies who don't fit what we do. And that is how we have maintained such a high rate of adoption. Even if you do not choose Plexus, these next few segments are really going to help you. Now, point number 5 is where our serve and protect mindset really shines. In our GMP agreements, you will notice a list of safeguards. Now, why are these needed? Well, anyone coming from law enforcement knows that where you find opportunity, you find honest people serving others and dishonest people serving themselves. Now, construction technology is ripe with opportunity. So predatory contracts are running rampant right now. And these safeguards ensure that the trust instilled in the sales process is represented in the contract. Unfair subscriptions are perhaps the fastest growing predatory trend in construction technology, and together we can stop it. Subscriptions were designed for instant value products such as magazines, Netflix, or Amazon, where the subscribers saw instant value from the moment they subscribed. They were not designed for complex software that requires laborious setup and configuration. Like, people would never subscribe to Netflix or magazines or Amazon if they had to write the articles, edit the movies, or set up the distribution centers before they saw value from the product. But in construction technology, this pricing model somehow made it to complex products, and people are paying subscription fees without the product being live, and they're being misled on the complexity and cost of the adoption. So here's what happened. Financial investors love subscription models because their spreadsheets look nice and pretty and they can project predictable revenue in unpredictable markets. Now, VCs have backed a lot of construction technology companies, so subscriptions are here to stay, and there's some good benefits to subscriptions as well, as long as they're fair. So all we need to do is restore fairness. In the description section of this video, you'll find the full terms that you should include in your agreements to protect you from unfair subscriptions. In short, any software provider who is confident in their ability to get you live will agree to defer the subscription fees until after you are live. And they'll also provide the option to cancel without penalty. I know it's possible because that's what we do here at Plexus. Now, just like unfair subscriptions, cloud cuffing involves charging subscription fees before the client is live, but it also involves licensing models and holding the client's data hostage in order to charge more money in the event that the client wants to change software. Yeah, it's a really classy move. So to protect yourself, simply defer all software fees until after you're live and negotiate a lifetime license in the agreement so you'll always have access to your data. Now, in addition, and I can't believe I have to say this, include a clause that states the lifetime license will be grandfathered into any future agreements. It's really important. We've seen it before where software vendors have changed the agreement and eliminated the lifetime license by having the customer accept a new end user license agreement in one of the software updates. Okay, this problem is way too common. Smokestacking is when software vendors oversell the level of integration in their tech stack or software ecosystem. And they'll use terms like open architecture and open APIs in ways that mislead subcontractors into thinking that their systems can just magically integrate to the level needed, which is not the case. A tough pill to swallow in this one is that by the time the subcontractor realizes they were a victim of smokestacking, they've already invested so much that they stick with the bad decision. Now, this is called escalation of commitment, which is a common human pattern of behavior. And some software companies and sales reps rely on escalation of commitment to keep the project going and the revenue coming in. So please check the description section of this video for the full terms that you should include to make sure you are protected from smokestacking, and share with anyone who is investing into construction technology. When you read a Plexus agreement, you'll notice a few things. One, it's a GMP, guaranteed max price. This means that if you go over, we eat it. If you come under, you don't pay for what you don't use. Two, it's a plain language agreement, not legalese. It was written by humans for humans, not lawyers. not that lawyers aren't human, although that's debatable. And 3, you'll notice it replaces 6 to 12 different agreements from just as many companies. And that is pretty cool. For those interested in pricing for Plexus software, here's what I recommend. If you just want a ballpark price, follow these steps. If you want the all-in GMP agreement, follow these steps. And if you just want a sample agreement to see how our pricing is broken out, just flip us a message and we'll send you one. Now, if you're a competitor, you do not have to get a contractor to call us and pretend they're interested. We'll share this with you as well.